We're live. Hi. We're the Snarky Sisters. I'm Diana.
And I'm Lisa.
And we've got
And I'm
Casey MacGill
Casey.
with us today.
Yay, Casey MacGill.
I'm the adopted brother.
Here's our song. It's the Sunday Songwriter Spotlight with the Snarky Sisters. We're live at 12:30, just about.
We're on time.
Right here on our Facebook page. With our friends we will commune. Because we're
we're
communists. That's why. Featuring Casey MacGill and some of his fabulous tunes.
Wow.
A master of many instruments. Yeah, we know he's got some skill. A monster of a player. Yeah, we know he's versatile. When you hear him play piano, you never can sit still. It's Casey MacGill.
Hi.
Yeah,
Hi,
hi.
Casey. How are you?
Hi. Welcome to Tacoma.
Tacoma, not Tacoma Park, Maryland.
No, Tacoma, Washington.
Tacoma,
The
Washington.
birthplace of Bing Crosby.
Okay. Well, cheers to that because it is
Yeah.
the first Sunday of the new year, 2021. What are you drinking,
Happy New
Lisa?
Year.
This is a MacGill mimosa.
And mine is a chill
Woo!
MacGill champagne Magilla.
MacGilla, chills.
MacGilla
Cheers,
Chilla.
everyone.
Cheers.
Just drink it. Just drink it.
Oh, we're so happy to have you here today.
Well, thank you so much. I'm absolutely pleasurated to be with you.
Pleasure. I like that word.
What's your language?
It's from Louis Armstrong, actually.
Pleasurated.
that
Let's
from
write
him.
that down. I've got
Pleasurated.
a little bio, just a tiny snippet of one because we're going to get through a lot today.
Hey, I've got a long bio.
Yeah.
No bragging.
That I'm bump.
You're making me feel inadequate.
My father used to say, Diane, you can make a lot of money by making bets with people that you're in Who's Who in America. And I said, well, I'm not in Who's Who in America. And he said, well, yes, you are. And I'd look under his name and down under children. There I was. So I made about $10. Casey MacGill plays boogie-woogie, jump blues, swing, and stride piano. He blows a lyrical jazz cornet, and his most unique instrumental voice is a 6-string tenor ukulele. There it is. Think Nat King Cole Trio meets the Mills Brothers, Fats Waller meets Fats Domino, Slim Galliard meets Potato Chips, meets Fred Astaire. And if you don't know who those folks are, you need to get some potato chips or
That's right. Get some
Open
potato
up
chips
Google.
and head for YouTube.
right. He's been singing and arranging vocal harmonies for more than 40 years, I think, in a career that stretches from Los Angeles, Mood Indigo, feature films Francis and Swing Shift, to Spokane, Washington, the Spirits of Rhythm and the neo-swing classic CD Jump, to Broadway, the musical Swing, and finally to Seattle, or Tacoma, most recently with the Blue Four Trio. He's toured extensively in Europe, performing for enthusiastic swing dancers at festivals and dance camps and arenas all over the world, live at Budokan.
And right here on the East Coast.
That's
right here.
Glen
in the
Echo Park.
Ballroom. Yep.
And the crowning achievement of my career is today on your show.
Of
Yay!
course it is. And now you get an opportunity to correct anything that may be wrong in your bio.
No, actually, I think all of those points were correct.
Oh, good.
You know, once we got the spelling of my name right, everything was fine.
Hey, think I spelled it right the whole time. It must have been Lisa. Blame Lisa.
Well, you know, my dad changed it to Mac from Mick, and I just recently recovered the old family Bible, and it was spelled MC on the family Bible, but my dad made it into Mac. So
Why, do you think?
whatever. Oh, I don't know. Maybe there was still a bit of Irish prejudice at that point because we're talking the late 1800s.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad was born in 1877. So
Wow.
So you're Irish, not Scottish.
I I think, and I've got some Irish on my mom's side. That's where the drinking part comes from.
So
And
you must be like 105.
actually, actually, my half brother would be 120. But I had a half brother who was born in 1900, and I was born in 1950. So I'm 70 now. But
You're just a youngin.
yeah, I'm just a wee lad. You know.
So I just wanted to just let our local listeners know that they know you through the ukulele camps.
Hmm.
Friend of mine, Alyssa, who I think is listening right now, and I have to
Hi,
check my phone.
Alyssa.
Hi, Alyssa.
Alyssa Honeycutt.
No, Alyssa
Oh,
Borzelleri.
oh, okay.
She took one of your ukulele classes, and
Yeah,
she said, "Casey MacGill is going to be on your show." So, it's a
yeah.
small world, isn't it?
It is. Actually, one of the pictures in the slideshow that you put together was taken in Maryland at Strathmore.
Should I
Oh
show the
yeah,
slides? Do
that's a
Oh,
great place.
sure, we could go to the slides,
you want to
you
do
know.
those first?
Sure.
Sure.
Whatever you like.
Okay.
Whatever you like.
Let me go ahead and do that.
Well,
And
when you went to the ballroom and played at the Strathmore, it was single. Were you solo, or
oh,
did you have a band?
that is in high school at San Gabriel High School, and I'm in the first row, second from right, and I'm holding a mandolin, which I
Like
never really learned to play. There you go.
a bowl
And
mandolin.
Right here,
that,
right? Yeah.
yeah, I
Yeah.
was about 15 or 16, I guess, at that point.
Oh, so cute.
And so that was my first real inspiration for music was folk music.
Oh, is that
And
right?
that's when I really started to play the ukulele in the early 60s, and I'd watch the Hootenanny TV show, and
Yes.
we had a reel-to-reel tape recorder, and I'd put the microphone up to the TV and I'd record the shows, and then I'd play the songs back, you know.
And that's how you
And
learned the songs.
I learned some of them, yeah, and my mom got me a songbook, a folk music songbook, and I learned a few songs in that, and I just was just obsessed with folk music. I love folk music. And then I eventually got a guitar, and I played that for a couple of years. And this is in the 60s. I'm on the far right in that picture, and that
Oops,
is
sorry.
oops. Want to
Sorry.
back up to the other
Yeah.
one? Okay. That is a band called the Magic Mushroom, and
Gee, wow. I wonder what
that's
that was
about
about.
1967. And the woman in the middle there is named Marilyn Scott, and Marilyn has had a career as a jazz and R&B pop singer, and she has a number of albums and has appeared on Arsenio Hall show, and
Oh.
is on some movie soundtracks, and did some singing with Tower of Power and George Duke and all kinds of. So she had quite a good career, and that was in Arcadia, California. That was in Southern California. But that's about 90. And all of us actually, not most of that group, we got in a couple of cars and we went and saw the Monterey Pop Festival together.
Wow.
Wow.
That was exciting. So that's that picture. And just about the same time, I'm in the middle of this one smoking a Camel cigarette. And that is the blues band that we had. And I just recently had a reunion with those guys. And three of them live down near San Diego, California. And I got to see three of them all at once. And then the guy on the far right with the big sideburns lives in Portland. And I see him pretty regularly. He was a harmonica player. And speaking of songwriting, I actually wrote a couple of songs when I was in that group. And we had a recording session at that time, and I just recently got a CD of that session, and it was pretty wild hearing that. I hadn't heard it for over 50 years.
Wow.
So anyway, that's that picture. Okay.
The Burning Bush.
The Burning Bush
Mm.
Blues Band. And that's me in the 1970s
Woohoo!
on an adventure
Whoop.
in California. And that's a cab. Okay. And I was still playing the ukulele at that point. And
And look at the hair.
Yeah,
That's not long hair.
that was that was as my hair was starting to get shorter. I actually had it quite a bit longer in the earlier '70s, and at that point, I was starting to play in
That's a
some.
great picture.
I was in a
That's
band
nice.
with this guy named Bobby Caldwell. We did Stevie Wonder and Earth, Wind, and Fire songs, so that was a different incarnation. And that is in the about 1983, and I had that professional picture made as kind of my Cab Calloway
Yeah.
pose. I've got
Great.
a number of great pictures from that session, and that's in the late '90s in Portland, Oregon. And I don't know if you can see if that I'm arranging a bunch of music parts for a swing gig we were doing at this great ballroom in Portland. I'm trying to remember the name of it. It's a part of a company of the McMiniman brothers who own a bunch of breweries and stuff in Portland. And this ballroom, oh, the Crystal Ballroom.
Oh.
And it's been there since 1912, and it's a beautiful old restored ballroom. And back in the '60s, James Brown and Ike and Tina and Otis Redding, all these people played at this place. It's got a lot of great history.
Wow.
That's very cool.
Anyway,
I like that picture
so
too. It's very
that was
noir.
like 19. That was like around 2000, 2001, and that's me opening the swing show on Broadway at
It's
the
your
St. James
torso
Theater.
opening this.
Ooh.
And
Tell us about the Broadway show, and it's your
um,
torso actually.
what's that?
When you is when you were an actor in Freaks, the movie. It's your
Ah,
torso.
I beg your
Human
pardon.
torso. Sorry, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
that's all
Tell
right.
us about Swing the Broadway musical. We can talk about that later too. But that
Well,
must have been great.
I released a CD in 1999, at the beginning of '99. This one right here, it's called Jump, and
Yep.
um, and one copy of the CD made its way to Los Angeles to a dance teacher, and we released it ourselves. You know, it was not part of a record company or anything, and so this dance teacher was driving around with the director of that Broadway show on the freeways of Los Angeles and put that CD into his machine. And the director says, "Who's this? I like this. I like this music." And so she ended up calling me, and I was in Spokane, Washington, you know, in exile. And she says, "Hi, I'm Lynn Taylor Corbett. I'm directing a show on Broadway called Swing, and I love your CD." And I said, "Broadway, like
Like
in
the
New
Broadway.
York?"
Uh-huh.
I said, "In New York?" And she goes, "Yes." And so I ended up getting into the show. They invited me to be a part of the show, and they used 3 or 4 songs off of that CD and some of the arrangements. And I ended up writing a couple of songs for the show when I was back there. So that was great. And I ended up, joining ASCAP, and I was getting some good royalties during the run of that
Wow.
show. And every time
Wow.
they revive it, I ended up getting a royalty from that.
That's very
So
impressive.
that was pretty exciting, actually.
Yeah.
And you mentioned meeting Tony Bennett. He came to one of those shows, and I got to meet him. But unfortunately, I was not as knowledgeable about his music as I am now. I actually have become a huge Tony Bennett fan in the last several years, and I wish I had known some of what I know now when I met him, because there's a couple of records he made that I really love, and I wish I had been able to have complimented him at the time.
Yeah.
But anyway, that was a great show.
So this looks like On the Town here. What's this?
Oh, that's a private party that was for a rock band called REO Speedwagon, and they hated us. And and
Sad.
and we just got dressed up in these sailor suits because a party was on this old yacht. That was a 150-foot yacht, and it was built for General MacArthur.
Wow.
and it was called The Lovely Lady. That was in Long Beach, California, in 1980, and so I thought, well, we're playing this party on this ship, so let's get dressed up in sailor suits. And a friend of mine, who's a professional photographer, Sherry Barnett, came down and took pictures of us. And the guy in the porthole is a wonderful entertainer. His name's David Jackson, and David has had an incredible career on his own. He co-wrote the song "Joy to the World" by Three Dog Night,
Oh,
and
wow.
was ripped off by Hoyt Axton and never got a penny for it. Yeah,
Wow.
Wow.
and David was the house bass player at the Troubadour nightclub in L.A. back in the early '60s at the age of 18, and accompanied everybody that went through there, including Bob Dylan. And he was a regular comedian and singer on the Andy Williams show back in the '60s. And there's a
Wow.
hilarious musical number, Sleigh Ride, and you can see David sitting on the sleigh next to Andy Williams, grinning with that big gap-toothed smile,
Hmm.
and he's totally stealing the scene. He's a very funny guy.
Oh, wow.
Anyway, so that was a real fun band. We had three-part vocal harmony. We did '30s music, and this is a larger incarnation. Unfortunately, I didn't
Oops.
get you a good enough resolution picture on that one. That was a New Year's Eve gig in Hollywood, and
Whoop. Let's
this
go back.
the one with the that one there was for a feature article in the Los Angeles Times in 1979. That's when I finally cleaned up my act, and I'm wearing a tie that used to belong to my dad, and
Beautiful tie.
yeah, and that was an antique store. And
Uh,
shortly after we took that picture, I was holding that cocktail shaker that fell out of my hand, and it broke the glass on that table that's right in that shot. And
oops.
those people were
Whoa.
very angry. You know, the L.A. Times, paid for the damage of that. But I used to go into that store and look around, and I was persona non grata after that incident. They never forgave me.
Wow. They didn't
You
let the
know,
band go in to do a shoot? That video?
no, no, no more. Stay out of the store. Don't come in here anymore.
It's a great picture.
Yeah, the photographer is a good friend of mine now. We've known each other for over 40 years. Ron Groper, and he's retired to Woodland Hills now. He's got a mid-century home with a swimming pool, and he's doing pretty well out there.
Awesome. That's a
Yeah,
lovely photo. Let's
yeah,
see.
yeah, that was a good one. And then this one was taken in a wheat field in Oregon, just above the Columbia River, back in 1999, and it was a part of a feature article for a publication called Atomic Magazine, and it was a retro kind of magazine that came out at the end of the swing era, the 1990s swing era,
Very cool
and
photo.
yeah, it was a great photographer in Portland took that, and that's me at Strathmore at the ukulele
Strathmore.
festival in
Okay.
Maryland.
All right.
That's where I think that's where your friend knows me from.
Uh-huh.
And then this is at a private party in Portland, and this is what I do. I put the ukulele around my neck and play the piano so I can switch back and forth.
So if I play this, do you want to tell everybody what
Yeah,
the
tell us
song is?
about this is an important minute. Three
Yeah.
minutes coming up.
Okay. This song is called "Don't Remind Me of Why I'm Drinking," and I'm not going to mention the person that inspired it, but it was inspired by a relationship I had, and and I always when I thought of this song title, I thought, oh man, that sounds like a good honky tonk country song. And I'm not particularly a country musician, but I've listened. I enjoy listening to old honky tonk music like Hank Williams and a lot of that great music from the '50s and '60s and George Jones and that type of stuff. And so I managed to write this, and the song hung around for years. I didn't get it finished, and then just a couple of years ago, I contacted this guy who plays in a honky tonk band in Seattle, and I said, I've got this song, I need to finish it. And he writes songs, and he said, okay. And I said, let's make a deal. I was watching a Beatles documentary, and when John and Paul got together when they were teenagers, they had an agreement where they would always finish the song that they were working on. They wouldn't leave the song sitting around. It's like, when we get together, we're going to write a song, but we've got to finish it. And they said, let's make that agreement. Like, when we get together, we're just going to finish this thing.
So should I go ahead? So this is called Don't Remind Me, right?
And this
Don't
is its
remind me
debut,
of
is
why I'm
this
drinking.
is important.
What's that?
This is its debut.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Bury
We're
the lead.
debuting this song here on the show today. It's never had an appearance in public yet, so here we go.
Okay, and you could hear it when I just started it, right, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
Here we go.
Don't Remind Me by Casey MacGill.
All right.
Don't remind me of why I'm drinking. Don't remind me of why I'm stoned. Don't remind me of why I got so high I can't drive home. Don't remind me about the heartache now that I'm used to being alone. Well, there's been way too much thinking, so don't remind me of why I'm drinking. You came into my life, you teased me with your smile. Your kisses hypnotized me, dear, but all the while you set me up to play your little cheating game. And now I ride this bar stool with myself to blame. So don't remind me of why I'm drinking. Don't remind me of why I'm stoned. Don't remind me of why I got so high I can't drive home. Don't remind me about the heartache now that I'm used to being alone. Well, there's been way too much thinking, so don't remind me of why I'm drinking.
All right, Fred Astaire on guitar.
Well, there's 100 dives in this old rainy town. So what would be the odds that you would come around? You walked into this bar with your future used to be, and it wasn't too far back when your new fool was me. So don't remind me of why I'm drinking. Don't remind me of why I'm stoned. Don't remind me of why I got so high I can't drive home. Don't remind me about the heartache now that I'm used to being alone. Well, I just see neon blinking, hear the sound of glasses clinking. Well, there's been way too much thinking, so don't remind me of why I'm drinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. You know what? That's a classic honky tonk song. It's got all
Thank
the
you.
elements, except
Thank
for a
you.
dog and, grandma.
A pickup truck.
Right, exactly. And,
There's no
and the
pickup truck.
rain.
It's parked outside.
Okay.
Yeah, with
Yeah,
the
that's
dog.
really
The dog's
good.
in it, but I left the window a little bit open. Yeah.
That's a really good classic song. Well, play something for us
Thank
on your
you.
ukulele.
Okay, I'm going to. This one is called "Head in the Clouds," and friend of mine called me up and said, hey, there's a movie called Head in the Clouds and they need a song. And I thought, okay, well, I'll write a song called Head in the Clouds. Nothing happened to the movie, but we have a song. So I'm going to switch to my other camera now. And so you can see this ukulele as I'm strumming it. All right. Are we here?
Very slick. Yeah.
Ah, great. Here we go. Get our groove going here. Head in the clouds. Hey, how's the weather up there? Got my head in the clouds. Honey, I'm walking on air. Nose to the grindstone, feet on the ground. A window without a view. But baby, when you kissed me, I found myself seeing skies of blue. Head in the clouds. And now my heart's on my sleeve. I'm falling in love. It's hard to believe. Old man depression, he's gone with the wind. Got my head in the clouds, let the sun shine in. Head in the clouds, hey, how's the weather up there? Got my head in the clouds, honey, I'm walking on air. My nose to the grindstone, feet on the ground, a window without a view. But baby, when you kissed me, I found myself seeing skies of blue. Head in the clouds, and now my heart's on my sleeve. I'm falling in love, it's hard to believe. Old man depression, he's gone with the wind. Got my head in the clouds, let the sun shine in. Got my head in the clouds, let the sun shine in. All right. Head in the clouds.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
Another perfect song, Casey. I mean, if I were producing a movie right now, which I guess nobody really is, I would like David Lynch. I think he's doing a movie. I would hire you to do the whole soundtrack.
He
Yes.
would do a movie right now.
I think he is. I think I read that. Yeah.
So Casey,
You know,
I'm sorry,
go
can you tell us about that beautiful ukulele?
Oh, okay. Well, this is a picture of it. Here we go. Can you see that?
Yes.
This
It looks
is
like a resonator guitar.
Yeah, it's a resonator 6-string tenor ukulele, and it was made by the now unfortunately late John Morton. The M is for Morton; it's not for MacGill. But and John made ukuleles and also resonator guitars. And this is a nickel-plated brass. And he told me that it was an interesting situation for him to go to this chrome shop, in Seattle, where it was a bunch of bikers hanging out, and he's bringing these ukuleles in here, to get nickel plated. He said it was kind of a funny experience, because he's from a totally different world. He's like an old hippie guy who lived in Port Townsend, Washington, and anyway, it's a beautiful instrument. And this headstock, can you see the headstock? It's kind of got a beautiful Art Deco.
The Art Deco
I'm
style.
trying to get, there you go, see that?
Chrysler Building.
You got it. Actually, my friend Robert Armstrong designed this. Robert's an artist and a musician, and he was copying the elevator doors of the Chrysler Building when he made that design. And then, wow, you get extra points. I'm going to have to give you one of my prizes. I've got a whole bunch of band T-shirts from the 90s. So
Okay.
anyway, and then the way this is curved, it's kind of like a banjo headstock, okay? And then on the other side, on the side, there's some nice, I don't know if you can see it, but there's some etching on the side. And then on the back, there's a nice little flower.
Wow.
That's great.
Isn't that pretty? Yeah.
Very pretty.
So when I first got it, I immediately got my finger stuck in the sound hole. So I said, John, you've got to get me like a little pick guard here. So he came up with this lucite pick guard, so you can still see the design. But
Yeah.
I'm a strummer. I'm not a picker. You know, I just play rhythm on this. So I need that to protect my finger when I'm strumming. But it's a beautiful instrument, and I've had I'm not really a big collector of instruments. I only have a few ukuleles, and they're actually all historical. And you know, as far as my own life goes, but this is the only one I really play.
So speaking of, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Diana.
I was going to ask him to play another song on it.
Yeah, please do.
Okay. Yeah. See, I wonder what that would be.
Does it have a cone in it? I mean, is it a real resonator?
Yeah. Yeah, it does. It has a resonating cone, and I don't know. It's not a tricone. It's just got one big cone, and so most of my songs are piano songs, but I'm gonna do a song. We sent you a sound file of this next song I'm going to play, but I'll play a chorus of it.
Okay.
I'll play a chorus of it now, and then maybe at the end of the show we can go out with that or something. How does that sound?
Sure.
And now this tune was actually commissioned by a friend of mine from the swing dance world. His name is Manu Smith. He lives in San Francisco, and about 5 or 7 or 8 years ago, he had a podcast called Swing Nation, and he was with 2 other people, and they all sat around and talked about swing music, and they looked at film clips of swing dancing, and they played swing music on this show. And he said, we need a theme song, and I said, what's your show called? And he goes, Swing Nation. I thought, okay, well, I guess I'll write a song called Swing Nation. And then I thought, people grooving together. So here's Swing Nation. I'm going to here we go. Go back to the ukulele camera. All right. Hit that jive, close the door, get the carpet off the floor, Swing Nation. People grooving together. Lindy bow, Charleston too. Rhythm is our golden rule, Swing Nation. People grooving together. All around the planet, gates are in the groove. I don't have to understand it. You just have to move. Truck on down, pimp your stroll. Put some jelly on that roll, Swing Nation. People grooving together. La da 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 da, do da do da do da do da do da, la da diddly do 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 da 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 la la da 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 wah 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 la da diddly do 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 da da. All around the planet, gates are in the groove. I don't have to understand it. You just have to move. Truck on down, pimp your stroll. Put some jelly on that roll, Swing Nation. People grooving together. Swing Nation. People grooving together. All right, Swing Nation.
One of our viewers, Tommy Wright, wants to know what your tuning is. And by the way, that ukulele has 6 strings.
Yes. I'm still on. You want to put me back there?
There you go.
On this camera. This ukulele is tuned like a regular 4-string ukulele. So it's G, C, E, A, G, C, E, A, and then there's 2 doubles here. This is a C, and that's a double. It's an octave, and then the A on the end is also an octave double. And this A has a silk wound string that gives it lots of volume, okay? And I have been using a particular brand of strings for a few years, and unfortunately, they switched out their wound string, and the one they sell now is really crappy. So I still use this company's strings, but then I'll get a classical guitar D string, and I put it on here. So that's how I do that.
Oh.
But it's just a regular G C E A tuning,
Just see.
and you know, it's got a nice sound.
Sounds beautiful. Really nice.
Thank you.
Shining.
Thank you.
Shiny,
I'm
clinky sound.
I'm surprised I didn't have it years ago. I'm sorry I didn't have it in the '80s when I was playing in Mood Indigo, because at that time I was playing a little soprano ukulele, and then I also had a tenor uke that was tuned down a step so I could play in the flat keys, and they had nothing of the volume or the presence that this one does.
So what made you shift from like the contemporary music to the Tin Pan Alley era?
Reincarnation, I think. I feel like I must have been a musician in the 1930s, and I started out like everybody of my generation. You know, I liked folk music, and then I moved on and listened to top 40 and rock and roll, and then in the late 60s I was really into the blues. The probably the strongest drug that I ever took was opium, and that fellow in the picture of the blues band and I were over at this guy's house, and we were part of like 3 or 4 people. We shared a bowl of opium, and at the time we were doing that, there was a record playing of Robert Johnson, and wow, I had this experience where I went through the speaker to the other side, and I was in the hotel room where Robert Johnson was recording and singing, and I was watching him, and I was not visible to him. I was just presence, you know, witnessing him singing. And after I came down from that experience, I didn't want to listen to anything but blues. And for 2 years, nothing but blues music, just only blues music. That's all I want to listen to. And it was really good for me. It was kind of a cornerstone for my musical, for how I relate to American music. And I feel like, you know, if you're going to really play American music, it needs to have blues in it. And if it doesn't, I think it's kind of racist, frankly, because I think that the soul of American music is in the blues, and it's all about the unfortunate slavery experience that our Black brothers and sisters had to endure. And you're not going to get any deeper feeling in music than what came out of that experience. And you heard it from the spirituals and all the music that has come during out of that during our history, and it's in all of that music. So
Casey, we've seen you play piano wonderfully, and we've seen you play the ukulele, but do you play guitar very much?
No, I played it when I was a teenager for between the ages of about 13 and 17, and when I went to the Monterey Pop Festival, I saw Jimi Hendrix, and it was incredible. And I thought, you know, Jimmy's got this covered, and I thought, you know, there's a lot of great guitar players, and I also was at that time going to nightclubs and hearing fantastic blues guitar players, you know, like Albert King and Albert Collins and Buddy Guy. I saw Junior Wells and Buddy Guy in a small nightclub, and I'd see Paul Butterfield and, you know, with Elvin Bishop, or I don't know if I saw Michael Bloomfield with them, but I definitely saw, and you know, and it was so great. And those guys had it so down. I don't know, I just was not inspired to stick with the guitar. And so I decided to go back to the piano, because I had some classical lessons when I was a kid. And then I taught myself how to play boogie-woogie and blues on the piano. And then when I was 18, I became a music major in college, and I did not know how to read music at that point. I had to like learn on the spot. And I had no music in school prior to that. It just was, ad hoc.
Well, let's hear some piano. Let's
Yeah.
hear some songs on the piano.
Tell you what, let me. I'm going to start out with a boogie-woogie tune that I didn't put on the list. I forgot about it because, at this point now I've got about 50 tunes that are good. I've got a few others, but got 50 that are pretty decent. And this one is from the 80s, and it was written for a TV show that it never made it on. And it's called Mr. Boogie-Woogie Man. And so here's a little bit of piano playing. I won't hold tight for seafood. Saturday night fish fry. Serve up some egg beat rhythm. See those fingers fly. Lend a hand, Mr. Boogie-Woogie Man. No rum and Coca-Cola. Sorry, not my style. Longing for solid 4. That's what I need to smile. Understand, Mr. Boogie-Woogie Man. Boogie woogie boogie woogie boogie woogie. Boogie woogie boogie woogie boogie woogie. La da do I. Send the boy who blows a bugle back to Company B. I have to have a piano to blow my reveille. Take a man, Mr. Boogie-Woogie Man. Serenading, just not in the mood. I want some ivory picking, and it must be in the groove. Understand, Mr. Boogie-Woogie Man. Pop, pop, a boogie-woogie, boogie-woogie, boogie-woogie. Boogie-woogie, boogie-woogie, boogie-woogie. La-da-da, do-I. Bob taking man, Mr. Boogie-Woogie Man.
Woohoo!
That's fun.
Yeah, that's always fun.
That's a good one. Thank you.
Tommy
Thank
Wright
you.
is watching, and he says you look like an R. Crumb character.
That's no accident.
Did you ever see him play in his little combo?
Yeah,
I would love to
it's
see
funny
that.
you mentioned that. That was a intuitively on point comment because the guy who designed that ukulele is a friend of Crumb's and also a cartoonist, Robert Armstrong. And
Wow.
Robert Armstrong has a character called Mickey Rat, which has been around for a long time.
Yeah.
And he and Crumb and another friend of mine, Al Dodge, formed a group called the Cheap Suit Serenaders.
Yeah. So he's in that. He
And-
was in that band.
Yeah, and so that's my friend Robert Armstrong. So yeah, I've met Crumb on a number of occasions. We're not friends, and he's retired to France now. So I don't see him, but yeah, I know who he is. And Robert, actually, I see, a couple of times a year. Robert lives in the Sacramento area, and we play music. In fact, Robert was one of my mentors. Robert was one of the people who introduced me to this old music. So you're right on point with that comment. Yeah.
That
So
was Tommy.
Rick Wheeler says that he wasn't a fan of the ukulele before, but he is now. So
Oh, well, that's fantastic.
One fan at a
Appreciate
time.
that.
And
You
Rick
know.
Wheeler says, interesting comments about blues artist Buddy Guy's always been one of my favorites.
Oh,
Yeah.
you know, there's a documentary about a Canadian festival, a music festival from 1970, and it was a cross-country railroad tour. It was crazy. And I think it was, it might have been called Festival Express,
Wow.
but I think Janis Joplin and
I sort of remember that.
Buddy Guy was on it, and
wow.
all kinds of fantastic bands, and Bonnie and Delaney, and
Oh, wow.
there's a number of people on it. In fact, I know a couple of guys that were on that train. And there's a picture of them listening to some music, highly intoxicated, and in that film, Buddy Guy takes some incredible solos. I mean, if you ever want to really appreciate Buddy Guy's playing, if you can find that movie, wow. And he was, in peak form. That would have been 1970. And then he made a lot of great records with Junior Wells in Chicago in the 60s, too. So,
Wow.
so yeah, Buddy Guy is fantastic.
Adele Biancarelli says, look at them, fingers fly. And so I'm hoping you can make them fly some more for us.
Yeah, I'd be happy to. I want to do a song for you that I wrote in the late 70s for Gilda Radner. And this song is called Love Letter, and was inspired by an article on her from TV Guide. And she said, when I'm home, I always want to be at the circus, and when I'm at the circus, I always want to be at home. And I thought, wow, that's kind of evocative, And I sat down to the piano, and I was. That's one way I write songs. I sit at the piano and I start fooling around with chords, and then if I find something interesting, then sometimes a song can come out. And so I was messing around, and I got these two chords, and I thought, let's try to write something with this. Funny little lady, grown up little clown, I sure like the way you wear your sweater. I hope that I'm there when love comes around, 'cause darling, I know love's much better. Funny little brown eyes, 1 foot out the door. There's something there I wish you'd show me. I know you love someone not there anymore, but baby, you don't have to be lonely. They took you to the circus, bought your toy balloon, you lost it and it broke your heart. But like the best of clowns in any tragedy, you were only playing your part. Funny little lady, wistful little smile, I sure hope that you read this letter, 'cause there's laughter through the tears and love behind the fears. And darling, I know love's much better. That's a good one. Thank you.
It's very poignant, especially since she's no longer with us.
Yeah, Gilda.
Yeah.
I always thought she was so much fun, She just had this sense of fun that was really transcendent. it was when I thought when she and Gene Wilder got married, that must have been just a match made in heaven for those two. It's too bad they couldn't have spent more time together, you know.
So
Yeah,
when you
because
wrote this, was this song, were you really thinking of her, or were you thinking of people like her? I'm just, we were going to talk a little bit
well,
about your songwriting process, so this might be a good
right,
time.
right. Well, you know, it's impressionistic in that it was inspired by her, and I suspect there might be some truth about her in the song, um, but it's not a literal. It's like
Right.
not every word is specifically relating to her because I never knew her. I never met her. You know,
So,
I only experienced her on television.
yeah. So tell us a little bit about your, do you have a process? Do you have a method for songwriting, or is it
No,
different for every song?
it's it's uh, uh, it's slightly different and slightly similar. You know, in other words, so sometimes like this song was started with those first two chords. Okay, that's where that came from.
Uh-huh.
Now other songs I started with the words, or another song like "Don't Remind Me If I'm Drinking." That was from the title. The title inspired the song. So I got that title. I said, God, I've got to write a song, and it sounds like a country song. I just want to tell you a brief little songwriting story. I'm not going to play the whole song. In fact, we went over this yesterday during, we had a spoiler, we had a sound check yesterday. Thank
Glad
goodness.
we did.
Oh my God. You know, when you do these virtual things, it's a darn nightmare. You know, it's scary. You never know what's going to happen. You know, are you
You
going to
don't want to see. You
disappear?
don't want to know. You don't want to see how the sausages are made. You really
Right,
don't.
Oh,
right, right.
that's right. You know, so that's right. So anyway, I shared this story with my lovely hosts yesterday, but I want to share it with the audience now. And that's um, I was going with a woman named Kathy several years ago who grew up in Massachusetts, and she and her first husband lived in Maine for a few years. And Kathy would always tell this story. I mean, I think I heard her tell this story 3 or 4 times. And she said, you know, when we were in Maine, there was always these. I'm sorry, I can't do a Boston accent. She had a great Massachusetts accent, but she said there was all these French Canadians that lived in Maine, and they always would say things like, "Throw me down the stairs, my shoes," or "Close for me the door," you know, and you know because they spoke French was their first language, so they would turn the sentence structure around. And so I thought, wow, throw me down this. One day, you know, I'd heard this story over and over. So finally I went, throw me down the stairs, my shoes. Oh. Throw me down the stairs, my shoes. Close for me the door. Oh, throw me down the stairs, my shoes, and I won't come back no more. And so I did a little Cajun song on that, you know. And so that's an example of how a song can come up. And yeah, I think you know, being a songwriter, it's like being a reporter. You know, you have to learn how to listen, and or being an author, being a person who writes books or writes stories. You know, there's a whole talent to listening. You know, listening is so important. And it also, if you're a musician and you like to compose, you know, listening to the sounds around you, nature or the sounds of the city, or like, for example, you know, everybody loves the Rhapsody in Blue.
Yeah.
And the reason they love it is because Gershwin was such a great listener, you know. He had a great intuition and he was super talented, you know, playing the piano. And when he put his mind to it, you know, he got a commission to write the Rhapsody in Blue. Okay, we need a Rhapsody for our orchestra, and he's going, what am I going to do, you know? And he wrote a piece of music that was a reflection of the environment that he grew up in, New York City, and Woody Allen put that in at the end, I think, of the movie Manhattan, and really a thing where you have to learn how to be a listener. Whether it's words, you listen to people speak, and you can hear a phrase and go, "Wow, okay," and you put that into a lyric, or you listen to the sounds of nature, like Beethoven, the Sixth Symphony. It's like Beethoven is out walking in nature. Or you listen to Debussy or Ravel, and it's more impressionistic. It's like a lot of that music is nocturnal. And
Yes.
there's a beautiful Debussy piece called Dances Sacred and Profane, and it's for a harp and a string orchestra. And it's so beautiful, and to me, it's just very nocturnal. It's like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and the city is quiet, and you're out walking on the deserted streets, and so another thing musicians listen to is feelings. You can actually listen to a feeling. You can hear a feeling, and what happens. It's a magical alchemy that occurs when a composer, whether it's Debussy, or whether it's Randy Newman, or whether it's Bob Dylan, or whoever, Stevie Wonder, whether when all of a sudden that gets transferred into music,
Yeah.
and it's like, wow, that.
Yeah.
But it's all listening, I think, and so if I were to discipline myself more, I'd be more prolific. And there are occasions when I did the swing show right around that time. I was in a band with a guy who was kind of cocky, and he said, and it was I wanted to do a bunch of swing music for swing dancing, and I wanted him to learn harmonies because that was kind of my calling card, and I've been doing that for a long time. And he says, I don't want to learn harmonies to all these old songs. I said, well, F you, and he said, no, he said, I don't mind singing harmony, but if I'm going to learn all these harmonies, I want to learn them to original songs. And I went, okay, Mr. Mother for you, I'll write some songs for you. So I ended up writing about 7 original songs, and then he did learn the harmonies, and it turned into this CD, and then that turned into my gig on Broadway. So I can do it, but I'm kind of like a cat. My lifestyle is kind of feline. I just lay around until a mouse comes by.
Well, we would love to hear another song, and then I think we'd like to talk to you a little bit more, and we have time at the very end to play the song that you sent me, the Swing
Okay,
Nation
great.
song.
If
Okay,
if you can go over our hour, we would appreciate it. We're having fun.
Oh, no problem. I have
Okay.
nowhere to go.
Thank you.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I mean, it's early in the morning here. I don't know if the market's even open yet. No, but I want to do a song for you. This one's called Front Porch Rockin', and I wrote this when I was in Spokane, Washington, which is on the border of Idaho, and I was taking a hiatus from the world of music, at least professionally, and I lived in an old farmhouse south of town on a couple of acres, and this tune kind of reflects a little bit of that time and that place. It's called Front Porch Rockin'. This is kind of, I call this my Randy Newman tune because the piano part reminds me a little bit of his style. Front porch rockin', shadows fade the light. Thoughts go trailing to remember when. Voices talking, stars winking in the night. has been. Oh, reverie, telephone don't ring. Oh, used to be. That don't mean a thing. Front porch rocking, I'm feeling misery. My heart is breaking. It's the same old friend. Can I make it? Minus all the pain. And awaken to be myself again. Oh, reverie, telephone don't ring. Oh, used to be. That don't mean a thing. Front porch rocking, I'm feeling misery. My heart is breaking. It's the same old friend. Can I make it? Minus all the pain. And awaken to be myself again. And awaken to be myself again.
That was really great. When I first heard that song, I thought Randy Newman exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That little.
I love Randy Newman. I wasn't trying to copy him or anything. It's just that's what came out.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
beautiful song.
Yeah.
So I would like.
Victoria Vox says hello. She's watching.
Ah, great. Yeah. One of my favorite people. Super talented and a lot of fun.
Yeah, she and Jack were on the
And,
show a few weeks ago, and I know you just had them on your show.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, tell us
Yeah.
about your shows to tell everyone.
Oh yeah.
What have you been doing since March?
Well, Jessica and I, my lovely wife Jessica and I have.
And Jessica's running the sound and the cameras.
That's right, doing a fine job.
Yeah. And plays mouth horn. Very nice.
Yeah, just a little. Just enough to annoy Victoria. but we're doing a cocktail hour, and I'm also doing a Monday through Friday set of music and online, and the cocktail hour is on YouTube on my channel, and then it also is broadcast on Facebook on my personal page, and then there's a dedicated cocktail hour page on Facebook as well. So we'd love to get everybody who likes the music today to subscribe to the YouTube channel. And when you do that, ring the
An
bell.
angel goes to heaven.
Ring the bell. That's right. That's right. And ring the bell, and then that way you'll be notified when we have an event coming up. And in fact, we have one coming up this coming Thursday at 7 p.m. And we have a couple of great guests, musical guests, Birch Piera and his lovely fiancée.
Yes, they're new friends
Jenny.
of us too.
Yeah.
Oh, really? You know Birch
Yeah,
and Jenny?
They
Jenny
were on our
Littlefield?
show too. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's great. That's great. Yeah. Doesn't Birch have a lovely voice?
Beautiful voice.
He reminds me of Ricky Nelson. You know,
Yep, there's a lot of that in him. Yep.
in a good way.
Yep, in a good way.
Yeah. I mean, no, I was a huge fan. In fact, the very first record I ever bought was a 45, It's Late by Ricky Nelson.
Gonna be
And,
all right.
Yeah, and at that time, you know, record stores had listening booths,
Yeah.
and you could go to the counter and you'd pick a few 45s out of the bin and say,
And Judy
"Can I
Garland
hear
would
these?"
sing it for you. No,
Yeah.
that's a different movie.
Well, you know, earlier in the century, they had pianos in the stores, and you'd put some sheet music on the piano, and the pianist would play the song,
Right.
and then you would just say, "Oh, I don't think I want that one. Let's see, what's this one sound like?" You know, but in the 50s, you know, you could listen to these 45s, and so I went in the booth and I listened to that and a couple other things, and so that was my first record, was Ricky Nelson, and I think Birch has a lovely quality of his voice that is reminiscent to me of Ricky. And, you know, Birch has his original tunes, and he and Jenny sing together. They're just great people. So
Yep.
we're looking forward to having them. That'll be next Thursday at 7.
We'll be
And
there.
then I do my my weekly, daily, well, Monday through Friday, and I'm on between 12:30 and 1. And I'm on
Pacific time.
broadcast live to Facebook.
Pacific time, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
that
and
that's
I-
all on what?
That's on
Casey
Facebook.
MacGill with an MAC Gill.
With a MAC.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
We need
So
to start a
that's-
Washington to Washington exchange program.
Yeah, I'd love that.
You all can come and stay at my house, and I'll go and stay at your houses.
Yes, we have a guest room. It's all made up for you.
All right.
We're getting your towels monogrammed right now.
All right, we'll be there
Thank
tomorrow,
you.
right,
We
Diana?
expect that. We expect
Okay.
monogram towels, actually.
That's right.
How about another piano song, Casey?
Okay, that's good because most of the other ones are piano songs. Yeah, so let's see. I'm kind of torn between a bunch of these tunes. Hang on a second. I'm gonna ask my executive producer if she has an opinion on what I should do next. What do you think? Did you?
Buddy Bolden yet?
No. Want me to do that? I've done a few songs that are portraits, and portraits of musicians, and so in this case, you know, the musician was the subject or the inspiration for writing the song, and this one's has a little bit of sadness to it because I was talking to some friends of mine in Nashville, and they were saying, "Yeah, we're going to do this song about Buddy Bolden," and I said, "Do you want some help on that?" You know, and and it's like they unfortunately let the cat out of the bag a little bit, and I got all excited. I said, "Yeah, you know, we could say, you know, he was the first jazz guy," and I said, "Yeah, you know, I say he makes the blues come out of his horn," and I thought, "Oh, he makes the blues come out of his horn." And then I just wrote the song pretty much. And then I called them back and I said, hey, you want to help me with this song? And they got super pissed. They said, well, you stole our song idea, you know, and it's like, oh. And I apologized and apologized. I said, I can put your name on the copyright. No. Oh, it was really sad. And these are some pretty big people, you know, and so I hope that they eventually got over it, you know, but that was over 20 years ago, but God, oh, anyway, but it's a lovely tune, and it's about Buddy Bolden, and he was like one of the first people to ever play jazz in this country. And this song is called He Makes the Blues Come Out of His Horn. And the lyric starts out naming a few characters from New Orleans, all right? And it's Fireman George, Baby Dodds, and even Mr. Jelly Roll. So let me just tell you who these people are. Fireman George was a bass player who played with Louis Armstrong, and that was one of his many nicknames. Most people know this guy as Pops Foster, but he had another nickname of Fireman George. So I thought that was a great name. Baby Dodds was a drummer from New Orleans, and you can hear him playing with King Oliver in the 20s and Louis Armstrong, and also Jelly Roll Morton. And Baby Dodds and his brother Johnny, who's a wonderful clarinet player, did a lot of recording in the 20s, and they're super famous among the traditional jazz set. Okay, they're great historical figures. So Fireman George, Baby Dodds, and even Mr. Jelly Roll, and that's Jelly Roll Morton, okay, can recommend without a doubt a barber with a lot of soul. Well, Buddy Bolden had a day job as a barber. He was, you know, cutting hair. And so I just wanted to, oh, and then there's another part in the song where I want to call out a friend of mine who's no longer with us, a great saxophone player, also from New Orleans, named Jerry Jumonville. And Jerry is on a bunch of Bonnie Raitt records and Bonnie and Delaney. He's in that film I told you about, the, you know, Festival Express. And Jerry was just a wonderful saxophone player. And he had a kind of voice like this, you know, and he'd go, yeah, we ain't too busy for that, you know, and he'd go, yeah, that's really beautiful. I love Ben. Yeah, I love Ben. And Hawk. I love Hawk. You know, you talk about saxophone. He was always talking about music, always music, you know. Oh, yeah. And then you played that minor 7 chord like there. You put it right in there, and it sounds really groovy, you know. And he had a wonderful voice. And so he would go, T-na-na, T-na-na, 2-way Parkaway, you know. And that was one of his little things. And so I put T-na-na and T-na-na in there, and that's a little tribute to Jerry. Jerry Jumonville and Eddie Zipp. Eddie Zipp is kind of a Dr. John-ish, and Eddie Zipp was a weightlifter, Mr. New Orleans of 1966. And characters. I mean, New Orleans is like a city of characters, right? Slightly criminal, slightly dangerous, pure New Orleans. Okay, so with that little introduction, I want to give you this song. It's called He Makes the Blues Come Out of His Horn. Fireman George, Baby Dodds, and even Mr. Jelly Roll can recommend without a doubt a barber with a lot of soul. He's known more for his music than he is for cutting hair. He's got a special talent, according to the folks down there. When Buddy blows that silver horn, he makes the pretty girls say please. The preacher lays his Bible down. The crap shooters get off their knees. He makes the blues come out of his horn.
He hits a low down tone, and the jazz is born. Mr. Bolden's music tells a tale you won't forget. Singing the blues, singing on his old cornet. You know, the evening breeze would carry his tune. All of the Nolans swells, they'll be arriving soon. Here comes with a T-na-na and a T-na-nay. Honey, shows you're born when Buddy Bolden makes the blues come out of his horn. You know, the evening breeze would carry his tune. All of the Nolan swells, yeah, they'll be arriving soon. With a T-na-na and a T-na-nay. Honey, shows you're born when Buddy Bolden makes the blues come out of his heart. Isn't that fun?
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love every single thing that you do, Casey. I
Thank
see
you
a
very much.
screenplay in that, or I see R. Crumb new series of blues artists, and can be just characters from your songs. Yeah.
Well, one thing we are hoping to do is raise the funds to make a collection of original, recordings of all these tunes. And, I'm heading into the last quarter here, and I want to get all this stuff down while I'm still around. And because
your life is
a
a
lot
football game, okay?
Yeah, I'm making a very rare sports analogy. I'm actually asportual.
I'm asportual too. Yeah.
I went to a prep school for a few years, and they had no art and music, and it's like that's part of what the problem is in this world. I think the outgoing president, I think he could have been a fantastic artist, and unfortunately, all that energy has gone to the dark side. And I think the guy actually could have been a really fantastic artist, and it's a tragedy, especially since everything that's happened. But that's what happens when you don't have art and music in school, and when your father's an asshole. But
at my college, at my college we had a marching band, but no sports teams. I played
Wow.
the sousaphone in the marching band. And the only place we had to play was before the midnight movie on Saturday nights.
That is cuckoo. How did that happen?
On purpose.
We spent all the money on the instruments. We don't have any money for the football helmets.
No one had any interest in a football team. I'll just
Where
say
was
that.
this?
It was. I'll tell you out after the show.
An island in the South Pacific?
No, it was a good
Okay.
college.
Gee,
So we
Jiminy
do
Christmas.
want folks to take a look
How
at.
How do we pay you? How do we do the chair kicker thing? Or
Well, we've got, if people are watching the show, you can see there's a link to PayPal or Venmo for Casey.
Okay.
Yeah. And also you have a website.
Yes. CaseyMacGill.com. And it's pretty clean. It's been recently redone by Jessica and her friend Heather, who did a wonderful job. And you can go visit us there. And if you want to contact me about getting a compact disc, a few people still do listen to those.
I buy them.
And I've got several hundred in the basement to choose from. And
No, Casey, you have 1 million in the basement. It's a million seller.
Well, thank you. So you can get in touch through the website, and we also have some do we have any of those around here? We had Oh, darn it. We have, Jessica made some refrigerator magnets, which are kind of exciting. And then, I also have a thumb drive for the ukulele community. I do 3 strums, and basically, and I do a, can I demonstrate that for you?
Yeah,
Of
you should do.
course.
Do you have an online course for all the aspiring ukuleleists?
Well, that's what this thumb drive is, actually a strumming class. And the main thing that I've done at these uke festivals is teach, aside from just performing, is I teach a strumming class, and I have a swing strum, which is, and then I have a shuffle strum. You haven't heard me do this, but it's like, when I do that song, Don't Remind Me of Why I'm Drinking. Well, that's a shuffle beat. And so how does that translate to the ukulele? I try to do it like this. So I teach that. That's very esoteric. It's not hard to do. It's just hard to explain. There's this Grand Canyon-like chasm between doing it and explaining it. But I do my best, and we have close-ups of my hands doing the strumming, and also slow motion sequences in there. Fantastic. Jessica I've got great support here at the house, production support. So here is, I don't know if you can see.
That's nice.
That's a little refrigerator magnet. And then this is that picture I showed you of us on the yacht.
Oh, I love it.
That's that band Mood Indigo. My hands shake after I drink coffee or tea. But anyway, so we've got that, and then I have, and that thumb drive. Oh, I did 2 of those 3 strums. The third one is a rumba strum. I'm sorry, what? What? Is it here? What? Oh, I'm being directed to the other camera. Here we go. Let's try this again. Okay,
we can
here's
see
the
your
rumba
hands.
strum. Yeah, there you go. And I break this down. So down, roll, down, up, down, down, up. Yeah. So it's, I show you how to do this, in 3 different steps. So down roll is the first step. Down, roll, and then down, up, and then down and down, 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 up. And you put it together. Down, roll, down, up, down, down, up. Down, roll, down, up, down, down, up. So that's what's on the thumb drive, and that's really good for doing songs like "Save the Last Dance for Me." Hey, you can dance, go and dance with the guy who gives you the eye. Let him hold you tight. Hey, you can smile, every smile for the man who takes your hand in the pale moonlight. And don't forget who's taking you home, and in whose arms you're gonna be. So darling, save the last dance for me. So that's the rumba strum, and then the swing strum. Since I'm on camera here. I fell in love with you the first time I looked into them there eyes. That's that one. And then headed for the station with a pack on my back, tired of transportation in the back of a hack. Love to the rhythm of the clickety-clack. Hear the lonesome whistle, see the smoke from the stack. Pal around with Democratic fellas named Max, so take me right back to the track. Jack, choo-choo, choo-choo, choo-boogie, woo-woo, woo-woo, choo-boogie, choo-choo, choo-choo, choo-boogie. Take me right back to the track, Jack. All right. So that's the shuffle strum. So you can get a thumb drive that has all 3 of those, and I teach you how to do that. So that's that's kind of my ukulele and then I'm going to be developing another class that's about the details, about doing endings and introductions and little passing chords and learning how to do things like melodic. When you play chords, you can do them kind of melodically, where you're doing, things like that, where you're going, instead of just going from, you can go, or just staying on this chord to here, you can go,
Yeah.
or you're just moving around a little bit more. So that's another thing I teach. What was that class
Okay,
called?
so Lisa wants to take lessons from you on ukulele, and I would like to take some stride piano lessons. So we'll be in touch with you about
Okay.
that.
Okay. Yeah, I'd be happy to help you out with that. And I need to take some stride lessons too. There's a great pianist in Italy who lives in Rome. His name is Luca Filastro, and I highly recommend checking him out on YouTube. He's my hero. He and I are buddies. We met in Thailand. We were over there for a swing music festival, and wow, what a talented guy he is. He's a sweetheart of a guy too. I mean, and he's got lots of soul. He's just a great musician and a great person. And that man can really play that piano. Wow. In fact, I have an original song that I'm just on the brink of being able to play myself. It's a stride tune. I wrote a song for Fats Waller, and what inspired this song was the song title. And the song is called "Are You Fats Enough?" And and what that means is, like, do you have what it takes to to really be a good musician or to play this style of piano? Are you fats enough? And so I'm kind of fats. I'm fats enough in some areas. In other areas, I'm still working. But it's a really cool song. I'm a little bit afraid to do it. It's not totally up to speed, But when I got the idea for this song, this one just came out of me like a freight train. It was like, whoa, just the words. And it was the words. And then after I got the words, then I had to go back and write the music. So, sometimes the music comes first, and then sometimes it's the words. So this one, I don't know, do we have time for this, or?
Sure.
Okay. You're my hostage now. Yeah. So this one, I've got a long verse, okay? The chorus is like an old pop song from the 30s. It's a standard AABA chorus. But this verse is actually super long. But we're painting a portrait of Fats Waller. Oh, and I want to tell you a couple of things that are in here. In the lyrics, in the bridge, it goes, if you want to pull the freight, you got to have some weight. And then all the rest is Lawrence Welk, sweet essence of buttermilk. And so when you get to that, yes, you did hear that correctly. And Lawrence Welk, for those of you who are too young to know, was a band leader from the 20s up into the 70s and early 80s. And his band was considered corny, a real commercial band. And they were not a hit band. They were not a jazz band. They played polkas and they played pop songs. But they were actually very good at what they did. And but in this lyric, it's like, if you want to pull the freight, got to have some weight. All the rest is Lawrence Welk, sweet essence of buttermilk. And sweet essence of buttermilk is one of Fats's stock things that he would say. He was a great entertainer, and he was great with one-liners, but he also had a whole bunch of stock one-liners that he would put in to his recordings while he was playing. So, and sweet essence of buttermilk is one of those. So it's kind of a quote from him. All right. There was a man from Harlem, one-bodied, living large. He got that joint to jumping whenever he took charge. His name was Thomas Waller, known to all his fats. His presence was
Casey, did your mic fall off?
Oh, it did. Uh-oh.
You're gonna have to do the song again.
Was that in mid-song, or was that at the beginning of the song?
The beginning.
Oh, poo. Uh-oh. So you missed the whole thing, huh?
Yeah, why don't you do it again? Because I liked it.
Okay.
Do you mind?
All right, here we go. So that was take one. This is Are You Fats Enough? Take two. Okay. There was a man from Harlem who embodied living large. He got that joint to jumping whenever he took charge. His name was Thomas Waller. Known to all his fats, his presence was pure music, from his derby to his spats. He partied, played, sang, and wrote for 39 full years. His joie de vivre in every note brought smiles from ear to ear. His talent was tremendous, not petite his treasure. We need some fats to send us when playing for our pleasure. Are you fats enough? Your tickling can't be thin. Stride them tents to pay the rent. Let the joy begin. Are you fats enough? Has you got that touch of Waller? It's essential, your credential, to make them ivories holler. If you want to pull the freight, gotta have some weight. All the rest is Lawrence Welk. Sweet essence of buttermilk now. Are you fats enough? Shake that big old thing. It's on, latch on, I'm gone. Make that rhythm swing. It's on, latch on, I'm gone. Make that rhythm swing. So, are you fats enough?
All right, I have another idea. You probably thought of this. You have to put together a show where you go around like Tom Lehrer and do a biography show of all of these guys. Fats Waller, Fats Domino.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, that would,
I would love to do that. In fact, the show would be called Spirits of Rhythm.
Yep.
And
I already thought of this, huh?
Strutting down the avenue, solid cinders in the groove. Something's in the air, you hear it everywhere. Spirits of rhythm, saxophones riff the line. Big bass drum beats, perfect time. Coming through the floor, vibrations from before. Spirits of rhythm. You take a chorus and you take a solo, swing it all night long. You hide a hide and then you hide it, ho, then you kick the gong. Never very far away, anytime we start to play. Have to help us out, we're gonna jump and shout. Spirits of rhythm, spirits of rhythm, spirits of rhythm.
That's
Awesome.
the plan. After COVID, your national tour, definitely.
The virtual
that's
tour.
Diana, we need to do a shout out to Rachel Kaufman, who is an amazing stride pianist.
Hi, Rachel.
So, yes. So
Yeah,
she'll-
Rachel reminds
Oh
Rachel,
no, a
you
real
have something in
piano
common.
player. Oh no.
You're as real as they come there, Casey. Thank you so much. Gosh,
Yeah.
this has
Thanks
been
for
so
having
much
me on the show.
fun. Oh my gosh, you're so talented. There's so much that you do. And so folks, please go to CaseyMacGill.com. Also, please generously look at PayPal and Venmo. It's right. The link is right here on the Facebook page. And I think we have one more treat, the YouTube video that you sent me.
Oh great.
And share,
Okay.
don't forget to share. And we'll say bye to you now before Lisa plays the video. Thank you so much. What a talent, what an honor
Aloha
to have you
and
here with
mahalo.
us. And maybe you'll come back again.
My arm was made to be twisted. Hit that jive, close the door, get the carpet off the floor, swing nation. People grooving together. Lindy Bow, Charleston too. Rhythm is our golden rule, swing nation. People grooving together. All around the planet, gates are in the groove. I don't have to understand it, you just have to move. Truck 'em down, pimp the stroller, put some jelly on that roll.
Oh, swing nation, people grooving together. All around the planet, gates are in the groove. I don't have to understand it, you just have to move. Truck on down, take a stroll, put some jelly on that roll. Swing nation, people grooving together. Swing nation, people grooving together.
There was a little bit of everybody in there, wasn't there?
Yeah.
That was the
Yeah.
point.
Yeah. Are we still on the show?
Yeah, we're still on. We haven't said final goodbye.
Oh, okay.
Right, Lisa?
Okay.
Shall we say a final goodbye and go off live? I can't hear you. Nope. Lisa.
Yes, thank you again, Casey MacGill. This was so much fun.
Thanks, Lisa.
It was
Yeah,
our
thank
honor
you,
to have
Diana.
you.
Yes, thank you so much.
My pleasure. My pleasure. It's a real treat to get to grovel in all of my music.
It was really fabulous music. It's really, really fabulous music. And I know 2021 is going to be a fabulous year, at least compared to the last year or 2 or 3 or 4.
Yeah, there's nowhere to go but up.
That's right. Okay, bye everybody. Share. Tip and share.